We are live. We are live. We are live. We are live. Hopefully everybody makes it. Okay. Hey, give me a minute. I got to get my coffee. I just ran in the door now, so I'm going to get my coffee ready. Can you hear me, JC? I hope you can hear me okay. I'll be back in 2 seconds. I got to get a coffee going. Oh, God, who do we got? Hey, guys, how's it going? Woo, I made it. Wow. Is it buffering? Is it? We haven't. I hope it's not buffering. 5 by 5, yeah, 5 bars. Yeah, in and out like that. I got there at 11 o'clock, 5 to 11. A couple people in front of me. That's what I love about living in a small town. Uh, and I have full marks for our medical crew here. They bust their ass and they get everything good. So awesome. Oh, so yeah, just a mole. This is just heat tape. This isn't anything. Yeah, this is just heat tape because I deadlifted yesterday and I'm sore as F. So that's all that is. But yeah, I got a mole taken off right about here. He just didn't like the color of it. He's not really worried about it, but my doctor is the mole hater. And since I had the cancer, the mole cancer, they wanted to make sure that everything was free and clear. So he and I are of the same opinion. When in doubt, cut it out. If you can get a mole removed, you know, take it off. I mean, if you don't need it, get rid of it, right? Yeah. No requirement for having a, big mole on your face or anything like that. Like I'd like to get this one here taken off, but on the face, he's not a fan of doing stuff, because any on your body, who cares, right? But he's not a fan of doing it on the face. So anyway, but I'm glad to see everybody on the YouTube's an hour delayed, but yeah, I was able to get in and get to go at the show going. Got my coffee. Not a very nice day here. We've got some flex coming down. Just supposed to be like like that. The ground is warm, so the snow is melting. It's like rain snow kind of, and it's going to be off and on pretty well for the day. There's a big storm hitting the lower mainland right now, or I should say like Vancouver Island, northern Washington, Oregon, Northern California. Big big shit storm of wetness and shit coming. So it's winter in the mountains. You're going to have snow. You're not going to be able to avoid it, right? So yeah, rolling in. But yeah, good week. Did everybody watch the fight? Who watched? I have Netflix, so my wife and I, we watched the. She was out with her girlfriends, so she missed the first one, the Hump Fest, and welterweight. But she watched the girls fight and the Mike Tyson fight. In my opinion, the girls were the best match of the night. They were the best fight of the night, in my opinion. I'm not a judge, but I've been in the ring, and my ring rust is big. Kudos to Mike Tyson. The big takeaway from that, actually, funny enough, I was speaking to Lawrence. I don't know if he's here right now, but it was a humiliation ritual, if anything, and it was a contrived spectacle of that's the only thing I can take away from it. Like, there was some just, because I watched the whole show right from the get-go, right from they had the three clowns that are talking, a model, an ex-athlete, and then some rapper, that I have no idea, because I don't know the rap scene, so I don't know what was going on with that. But in my opinion, and I'm sure, like, this is the opinion of a lot of people, that it was a contrived spectacle, for the Benjamins, for whatever. But the one thing that I can take away from the Tyson fight, the Jake Paul Tyson fight, was it was sad more than it was entertaining. Like my wife's not a boxer, she's not a fighter, she's a gym rat, yeah, but even her, she was looking, she was like, oh, I hope he doesn't get knocked down. And it would have been sad. It would have been, that's why I say it was contrived, because it would have been a real belly drop to see Mike Tyson go down. For me, I was a Mike Tyson fan when I was younger, when I was into the taekwondo and the mixed martial arts, when mixed martial arts started around, back when, the days of Randy Couture and Matt Hughes, the wrestler, and then Chuck Liddell. Like, the name, this is so long ago, like UFC 1, when we were talking, when it was illegal and all that. So, but yeah, a contrived spectacle, if I can say that, of anything. I mean, I really didn't know who this Jake Paul guy was at all until I watched the fight, and then it started rolling through some stuff. But to show his ass and everything like that, that was a bit much. And to show Mike Tyson's ass, it was just really weird. That's all I can say about that. But the girls' fight was awesome, even though I think that, we've always known this. Anybody who's ever crawled inside the ring or anything like that, never leave it to the judges. Never leave it to the judges. Never leave it to the judges. That's just the one thing I can tell anybody. But anyway, I can't remember what night the fight was. Was it Friday? Was it the Friday that just went by? What are we, the 20th today? Yeah, it was the 15th, right? So it was Friday. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, he's an influencer. I looked at his thing, like I went back and I looked at some of, like, because the Forever Back Machine, or the Way Back Machine, he's a YouTube millionaire. There are YouTube millionaires out there. Like, I didn't realize that. Good for him. Way to go. But to be a YouTube millionaire, but I don't. Mike Tyson, like when I think about Mike Tyson, I read up on his history, and it wasn't a good beginning. It wasn't a good beginning. Like it's like me, affluent. I had a pool in my backyard as I was growing up, so I didn't have hardship when I was, yeah, okay, bullied in school, and or my parents weren't perfect, which nobody's parents are perfect, but nobody came home and put cigarettes out of my head. I didn't go hungry. I didn't worry about gunshots going off in the street. I mean, I had a good beginning, and I'm of the opinion that Logan and his brother Jake had a very good beginning. You can read up on the wiki propaganda page, or the whatever, because that's where the wiki propaganda. It's where you go for if you want to find out about movies, and I don't go there to learn anything. Like if I want to find out about the history of 9/11, I don't go to the wiki page, right? So I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, so they were, it was. My takeaway, it was sad. It was sad. I'm glad he didn't get knocked down, because I'm an old guy, and I know if I climbed in the ring with some guy in his late 20s, early 30s, that it would not probably go well for me. I don't know. I would hope that I would have more experience to draw on. But anyway, I digress. It was, and when I was talking to Lawrence, it was a humiliation ritual. It was weird. It was just weird. Like the girl fight was good. Girls fight was excellent. Man, they pounded each other, albeit Taylor's headbutts and that, and I think Serrano was robbed. Yeah, yeah, his knee looked. Yeah, his knee looked unstable with that brace on. It looked like he would fall over at any second. It just didn't look good. Like I know from having bad knees that if your knee's not 100% and you go to cut or move side to side, you go that way and the knee goes that way, and that's the end of the story, and it's all over but the crying. So I had to have full up knee surgery. So now it's good, but I don't know. But yeah, it was contrived, and because right at the end of the fight, I know some Archie didn't watch it, maybe not everybody watched it, but right when they did the bow, um, they just stopped and then hugged, and okay, I got my check, you got your check. I don't know. I don't know if Mike Tyson was hard up for money or if it was something, but I can promise you one thing: a lot of people did make a lot of money on that night. Not me, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, like my deadlifts yesterday I was in the gym yesterday, did 325. I was strong. I was bad strong. It was great. I was enjoying it. I mean, I'm not 20. I think my heaviest when I was 29, 30, right around there, I was deading about 465, squatting about 405. But I'm 62 years old now almost, and I pulled 325 yesterday. I was very, very happy. Although I feel like somebody, like a gorilla, put me in a bag and beat the living shit out of me, but I'm okay with that. I'll heal. I'll be okay. But yeah, I felt really good. Yeah, recovery takes longer at our age. That's the truth. That's what did Harrison Ford say in but yeah, he says not the age, it's the mileage, So that's it. We got a lot of miles on these bodies, so but yeah, good workout yesterday, my wife's strong. If she's not injured, she's strong. So, you know, and I love girls. They're all strong in their bottom end, right? They got us beat by hands down, man. It's amazing. Anyway, but yeah. So, oh, what did I want to talk about? Yeah, I didn't even get a chance to take any notes or anything like that. But I've just seen that everything right now is an absolute spectacle as we're watching these sandboxes unfold. Everything right now is and it's that's where it's on us right now to keep our spirits up, because they're trying to keep you down. They're trying to beat you down every day. Something's coming up on the idiot box or in the interwebs or whatever, just to really deflate you. Really, somebody's pissing in your cornflakes, And that's what I've been taking away from the headlines this week. And you're like, really? Is there no adults in the room anymore? Are there no people that can talk to each other? Is there nothing? And I think it's a contrived event to keep your spirit down, to make you turn your back on your faith, whatever your faith may be, to make you turn your back on whatever, to like say, fuck it, and just give up, as it were. And we've got people in the right now who are struggling to stay clean and sober. And it's like, what the fuck's the point kind of attitude that a lot of people have right now. And it's sad. Yeah. 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 And it feels great, doesn't it, Retro? Never give up, never surrender. I'll take that one. That's the Galaxy Quest. Never give up, never surrender. Go kicking and screaming, as best as you can. I mean, we just lost a very well-loved gentleman in town here, 71 years old. And his ticker just went just like that, right in the driveway. I think he was in the driveway or in his kitchen or whatever, and he just dropped his driveway. It was just in his drive talking to his son. Beep, 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 beep. Just like that. So, yeah, enjoy every day as if it was your last. And, be true to your school. Don't lose faith. Like, and the U and the R, like you said, Archie, it's just, it's a shit sandwich. These people are really playing us for suckers, and it's just back and forth, back and forth. And then we've got the Middle East sandbox that's going on right now, and all the talk that's going on right now, just to completely deflate. Because if the five or the four or the five of us were in a room right now, I'm sure we could probably hash something out. It's like somebody from Lesotho has to decide what's going on over there. As somebody who's not invested, not something has to, that's why I look at it all as all contrived events and, scripted in a sense, not everything, but it just seems like, really, you guys can't get your shit together, and even now with what's going on down below the 49th right here in our North America continent, it's over. Let's get going. Let's try and fix everything. And yeah. Oh man, money, eh? Money, the root of all evil. People will do anything, say and do anything for money. Almost, not everybody, but it's normally the ones who don't have it that But the ones who have it seem to just want more, or want to protect their more, or it just seems really weird. But the latest foray with it's like I was making a comment on a place that I go to about like the C.S. Lewis books and about the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and it's like they don't realize that there's something bigger, and they're fighting over the table scraps. Meanwhile, the table's legs are being bashed out from underneath them, and then they're not realizing that we've got to fix the table. The table scraps mean nothing, and it really, it's like this could be a learning event. This could be where we are right now, that there is, if you want to argue good and evil, if you want to just use those terms, and then there's something that desperately wants us to, like, we're on the cusp of learning something. Like when you're children, if you've had children or something like that, that they're on the cusp of getting it, and you just want to nurture and help and guide instead of impose, a will. Like somebody put on the Star Trek with the TNG, Who Watches the Watchers. If you guys are TNG people, with the Captain Picard, the bald guy, and they're watching a planet, and they're proto-Vulcans, and they're right on the cusp of some kind of discovery or some kind of realization, and everything like that. And of course, the pesky humans are watching them, and then they get discovered, and then one of the scientists says, "Well, we may as well just go in and pose some rules for them." And then Picard shits himself, and he's like, "No, like they're right on the verge. They're right on the rate. They're ready. Let's if we do something if we do, so let's just show them the magic, you know." And then I think we're right around there. But then again, we've got those people on this planet, not unlike Star Trek. Of course, I always love using Star Trek. And another TNG one where the Will Riker character goes and he's and he's walking around amongst them. Stupid idea. And then the religious zealots who are in charge are like, no, we can't. And that's another truth. You're like, we can't change because it'll change our whole, our control. I can think about 2,000 years ago when a certain guy was walking around saying, "You better change, you better change, you better change." And then the guys with big hats were like, "No, we want to protect our bottom end." And you know how shitty that Easter was. So we're like, I think we're right on the verge of something, but maybe some people know, some people don't know. I have a feeling, you know. But there again, it's like, when people are, I don't know what just happened to the camera. I didn't do anything. It's the Matrix. That's weird. Why did it just do that? It just went all blurry. I'm right here. I'm right here. Try and focus. The Matrix. The Matrix is broken. Don't quit my day job. There's a deeper magic than what we're doing right now. There's something bigger. We could argue God and spirituality and this or that or the other, but then think about all the religions that we have on this planet fighting each other over that pile of rocks. Fighting over a pile of rocks. This pile of rocks is, it's crazy. You remember in Mummy, the good one with Brandon Fraser, an excellent movie. And you've got the Benny, the little scumbag, little rat, and the mummy's coming towards him, and I can't remember which one he pulls out first. I think he pulls out a cross, and then he's like this, and the mummy's still coming, and then you see he pulls them all out, and then he's just going through them all, and that scene is just, it's textbook. I laugh so hard. And he starts doing them all until he gets the the right language and the right emblem. Of course, complete horseshit. But I absolutely love that scene. Benny and what's her name, Rachel, whatever Weisz character, I think her name was. You guys always get your comeuppance, and then he's like, really? And he does, in a bad way. So think about that, eh? Be true to your school. Don't give up. Never surrender. And that I always think about that when I'm having my hard days. I'm thinking about, don't turn your back on your faith. And I speak of my faith as my own, because I have a 12-step program. But I'm not pushing anything on anybody like that word or anything like that. That everybody has to come to their own realization. Everybody has to find their own place and everything like that. So I don't make any affirmations about that kind of stuff. But I know in my heart that there's something bigger than this bag of goo, this bag of elements and minerals, the soul, if you want, or something more that's got me to this level. So I'm very happy. But it's testing every once in a while because we've got such abject insanity right now that it's really hard to put things in to make sense out of everything right now. Because like a lot of like I would imagine that most of the people that are watching this channel, the 3 or 4 or 5 of you and my mother, are like, yeah, well, I would, it should be this way. It should be solved this way. We shouldn't be doing this, because no matter what, like no matter who owns the pile of rocks, what's going on is heinous, and that shouldn't be happening. You know, whomever you may be. Back in the old days, we had rules, right? Back in the day, you didn't kill the women and children because that was the future, right? But now we're doing that, and we're like, well, that's completely wrong. So we shouldn't be doing that, So, but it seems that once again, that this contrived event that we're in right now is designed or being put forth so that we can learn something, because that ain't kosher. And if I could use that word, right, you shouldn't be doing that. Point final, as we would say. You do not do that. You do not kill the goose that laid the golden egg, if as it were, You don't smash your oven. That's crazy. So I think this is where we are. We're at the cusp of learning something. I hope we can learn without going back to the caveman days. I would like to think that is not going to happen. Like we've got all the rhetoric right now about, listen, and once again, I do blame the mainstream media 100%, because when I was at firefighting last night, the consensus is Orange Man bad, Putin's Hitler, blip, 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 this happened last year, so all of that's happened after that is okay. And I'm like, wow. Meanwhile, they're lining the street to watch Taylor Swift come to Toronto, presidential escort through the streets of Toronto with motorcycle cops. And I'm like, wow. Okay. Yeah. Scratch that, rewrite, rewrite, time to rewrite the script, so yeah, really weird. But but once again, I think that this is where we are. We're at a learning point. I mean, there's the arguments right now that we are on the cusp. Something is going to change. The song, how the song goes, the age of Aquarius, that kind of stuff. I don't know that stuff enough. Like I don't. It's not that I don't put any thought in it or anything like that. I do, because I do believe that, like, because things have happened in my life that tells me that there's something more than just the matrix that we're in right now. There's something more, because of how I've been plucked out of the claws of death, or my path has been guided in a certain way, or speaking, like there's a reason. People will say, yeah, there's a reason this happened. If you want to use the word reason, there's an explanation for why this happened, or something like that. So there's something going to change. Now, we've been saying that for 2,000 years, or whatever, and I know a lot of because I know there's just, and right now it's just so hard and heavy with the grifters and the fear porn peddlers, and the ones that are, that are with the absolute, and then you realize, well, that's not, it takes 2 seconds of investigation, but you got so many people right now are on the ragged edge that they're just going to go with it. Well, well, it's not really that's a scene from a movie, or that's not exactly what happened, But the thing is that we've got a lot of people right now, selfish individuals that are just thinking of their own selves, nobody else, and their bottom end is dollars or control or this or that or whatever, So, I mean, I do believe, or I do think that there are humans on this planet that do that are so diluted in their thinking process that they think that yeah, if we have a limited nuclear exchange or whatever, I'm not a scientist, that everything will be okay for us. Okay, maybe. Do you really want to try that out though? So you know I mean, I saw that robot dog from China running through the woods and everything. I was like, wow, if that's what we see, imagine what they have. If that's what we see, and I was in the military, I don't know, I imagine that. Look at the levels of AI technology right now, retro. When I look at some of your stuff, it's like, wow, that's what we have now. What's down the pipe? What's down the road a little bit that's already been done. I mean, I think I remember back to the 90s when there was that kook who had that clan in Quebec, and they were called his name was Rael. He was some man bun wearing, and I'm not raging on man buns, but he was an old guy with living in his pajamas. They called themselves the Raelians or whatever, and they were going on about cloning and all kinds of stuff and hybrid and because that was when cloning was a thing. And if you've seen some of the cloning movies, like, we can clone. We have the ability to do it. We've had the ability to do it for a long time, for 30 some odd years. We can all remember Dolly. Everybody knows about Dolly. I believe Dolly was the first that was cloned. How appropriate was that, eh? They cloned a sheep. Like, was that a metaphor? What's that, hon?
You picked up on that.
I picked up on that. Yeah, they cloned my wife's laughing at me right now. But it's the truth. Like, they cloned a sheep. So how many Tom Cruises are there right now, like in the movie Oblivion, that are ready to pile out of the spaceship? And hopefully we have Morgan Freeman. They should clone Morgan Freeman. Or Thomas Sowell. There's a good one to clone. Have that brain cloned out a bit, and we can go from there. But this is what I'm saying, if that's what they have, if that's what we see, if that's what we see, like Hollywood's a great example too, as if you want to think about the slave rolls, that like, like what was it, when I had that video and they were doing the Spider-Man stuff and they had all the fake, and Buddy's like, this is completely fake, and you're like, wow, it looks real. Like, you could argue the Twin Towers, right, that it was all holograms. I'm not going to argue that. I'm just saying that if you wanted to, yeah, sure, if you wanted to, it could have been like, that could have been an AI fake, with the yeah, sure, but I'm not going to argue that point. All I'm saying that if that's what we see, imagine what they have. That's all I can go from there. Yeah. I'm your mommy. Like, wow, don't want to clone this guy. You're like, yeah, my nose is crooked. If you're going to clone me, fix my face up. But yeah, I can only imagine, like, they'd be ready. Let's say 30 years ago. So you'd have, like, if the technology was way ahead of where it was, then yeah, you'd have the super soldiers ready to go right now. They'd be in their 30s, a whole warehouse full of them, a million of them, million Tom Cruises ready to run out and with their guns. I mean, I'm joking, of course, wipe their minds and make them do whatever, because robotics and all that stuff is one good EMP and they're all off or whatever. I'm using my limited brain intellect, of what I know from science fiction. So you can't quote anything I'm saying, but yeah, if that's what we see, imagine what they have, the autonomous vehicles, especially, that's why I'm thinking about all the drone things, all of the AI. Like, did anybody watch the live That was on last week before the show, the live show, the live congress with Higgins, Clay Higgins, and they were questioning all the panel about UAPs and all that, you know, and all you notice that that's out at the forefront right now. Eh? It's like we're on the verge of something. You know, they've got they're pimping 2025, you know, the death numbers, you know, that we're all going to be wiped out and there will only be 6 or 7 of us left. But yeah, I watched up until I had to do the show last week, but I watched it, you know. I would desperately love for them to land in my backyard so we could break bread. You know, if there was, you know, a bipedal alien that was kind of looked like me, you know, that take me for a ride to Jupiter and back, so I know it wasn't bullshit, you know, and then, okay, let's have a show and let's do it, you know, because if they show up and they land on you know, in the Kremlin lawn or the White House lawn, or, you know, then, yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for coming out. But, you know, and funny enough about the orb thing, if some of you older guys and girls, or those science fiction fans who remember the old Battlestar Galactica, the 78, from with Lorne Green and, you know, what's his pickle, Starbuck, you know, the cigar smoking space cowboy, Apollo and all that, the old one. There was the War of the Gods, when they had the orbs, and and then it had there was good and evil, because then you had Count Iblis, you know, or Satan, if you want to call it, and we have the orb stuff going on right now, chugging around and doing its thing, and I'm like, wow, you know, that's, you know, because I don't discount anything until it can be discounted. Everything goes in the bubbles of information until I can absolutely shit can it, you know. So when I thought about the orbs, and I was like, you know, and when I look at those two shows, the War of the Gods, it's a 2-part series with Patrick Macnee, you know, and it's good versus evil, and at the end of the series, end of the 2-part series, and then when Satan runs off and all that stuff, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm sure you've seen it. They were all like supposedly like, well, maybe we just had a little bit of a thing with good and evil, and then Lorne Greaves, we've always been doing that, and I'm like, okay, because we're probably on a cusp, on a verge of over the cliff type thing, or a discovery. The orbs, you know, if I can argue that, you know, and this is just my supposition, of course, that they don't want to impose anything, but they're trying to guide us in a sense. That's maybe why, you know, like why my cheese is coming off the cracker, because none of this is making any logical sense. What's going on the planet, on the marble? It's abjectly horrible. It cannot be. It must stop. So I don't know if that's why. Yeah. 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 The Battlestar Galactica series, some of the episodes, you know, I found it very, you know, it didn't do well, I know, but when I look at that episode, the War of the Gods, with, you know, the good and evil, you know, I will show you to Earth if you follow me willingly. And that's another. You see, there was a lot of whoever wrote it, you know, like, you know, I don't know. I really don't know. You know, it makes me believe in, and I'll use this term loosely, in good spirits that are in human form, that are trying to guide us, but they're not allowed to tell us. It's like the Matrix, you know, knowing, you've got to learn. You can't know. You got to learn, you know. it's something I'm just I don't know. Maybe I'm just too stupid. You know, sometimes I just think that I'm just another dumb monkey. You know, I'm trying to figure it out like everybody else, right? But it's fucking hard. Pardon my French. The show is not for children. Supposition. I make no affirmations. I'm not telling you how to do your breaks. I'm not telling you how to do anything. This is just discussion. I should preface my videos with that, but I always forget. So, you know. Yeah, just weird. A lot of weird things are going on right now. I really hope we are going to learn. I hope we haven't done this already, you know, but there are those arguments, right? Yeah, that Congress, that thing, I don't know if you guys watch it. It's being replayed now, and they're taking snippets out of it. I love Clay Higgins. I wish I could do that accent. That is the best Southern accent, and it's that drawl, that drawn out talk. For those guys who know how to do voices, you know, it's like South African, you know, but you're black, South African. I can't do it. I can't do accents very well. I can make fun of the Frenchman because I'm French and I know the language. You know, the old joke when we used to say when we were kids. I don't know much the language, but I do the best I are. You know, we just joke around because, you know, we would go back and forth. Ici, on parle en français, you know. But anyway, it's so funny. I think we're on the verge of something. So, you know, but we're being distracted by the humiliation spectacles, the Mike Tysons, the Taylor Swifts, and then, you know, and myself included. If they make a new space show and it's got me going, well, there you go. I'm distracted, you know. Yep, that was it. He was the only survivor. Oh, yeah, something really bad happened here. Yeah, that's the one. Count Iblis, you know, Diaboles or whatever. Apollo picks up on it. He clues in eventually, you know. And there again, this is what this is like C.S. Lewis with Aslan when the queen kills Aslan and doesn't realize that he gave himself willingly. Just like if you think about Jesus Christ, the Christ Jesus gave himself willingly, and then he was taken out, and there's a payback for that. And that's the thing in the Battlestar Galactica episode. Apollo gets killed. You know, he doesn't believe Iblis is bullshit, so he gets taken out. And Starbuck kind of picks up and he says, "Oh, you just screwed the pooch, bro. You took somebody that wasn't supposed to be taken because he wasn't a willing victim. He wasn't one of your willing sheep that you could just willy-nilly with their soul. You with the wrong," and then he split and he was gone. Boom, you know. So I'm thinking, you know, something like that now, you know. Yeah, that's why we can't buy on to the bullshit. We got to be true to our school. You know, God help him. You know, that's what happened with, you know, the witch. I got you, kill you, torture you. And then, oh, you fucked up. And now it's you, you know. Anyway, this is such out there abject speculation and weird thought. I know this is probably, you know, crazy talk to some people, but, you know, there's more to this bag of water than just bag of water and bones and elements and chemicals. There's more to it. Yeah. Oh, I have the Battlestar Galacticas. I watched it regularly. I enjoy the campiness of it because for me, it's not about the campy, like, you know, it's the writing. It's whatever they were trying to say, like the old Star Treks, you know. Yeah. Yeah. You know, once again, but then in my opinion, then it gets co-opted by some kind of evil entity, Disney. Like, look at Star Wars, how pure Star Wars was. The first three, Star Wars, Empire, and Return of the Jedi. What a wonderful journey. Wrapped itself up into a nice, tight little basket. You know, if you think of those three movies, wonderfully written, wonderfully, in my opinion, Of course, I didn't like Return of the Jedi. I found it very, they pushed it on the, the stuffed little teddy bears running around the bush. But at least some of them did. You see some of them do get killed. So you're like, okay, yeah, even the teddy bears get killed, eh? So that's okay. But after that, once the evil, we'll just use that term, once the entities of money and greed found out that, wow, we can make Benjamins off of this, and then what they came out with afterwards, in my opinion, of course, this is my opinion, was abject shite. I'm sorry. I tried to watch the newer ones, when they came out afterwards. I was like, sorry, I'm out. I'm done. Like there was no message. It was just, oh, you want to sell dolls. You want to sell puppets. You want to sell video games. You want to, there was nothing there. Foundation. I don't understand Foundation. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, some of them, like some of the new stuff for its AI and its flash, and I love it. Like the new Star Treks, come on, for the visual effects, yeah. But more often than not, the stories are just rehashed or twisted around and stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. I'm too old school. I'm too rigid. I still, like, every night I have my headphones so that I can get my mind to go Jar Jar. That was an insult, Jar Jar Binks. That was, I don't know what. I remember watching. Was that Phantom Menace? Hi, Babalu. I didn't see you there. I didn't know if you guys were chiming in. It's great to see all of you people there. Okay. Yeah. Jar Jar. Tickle Me Elmo. Cabin. You see, there was a time when it was bring back lawn darts. We'll let them sort themselves out. Bring back lawn darts. I remember, like, I remember finding that out, that they were banned, and I was like, what? What do you mean? And when you have these shows about toys we had for kids that could kill them, and they have lawn darts, and then they talked about lawn darts, and I was like, no, only the ones that didn't look up or pay attention got one in the eye or whatever, That's all. I mean, shit. We used to shoot my dad's 22s in the house. Like full up real rifles, not pellet guns, 22s. In the house. We had like our house was huge when I was a rich white kid. And we would, like, there was a part of because the basement was full concrete, right? Full up basement. So if you could go on one end and you'd open up the door, you'd have like almost 100-foot range. And we'd be shooting the 22 in the house. Mom knows. Dad found out. That's why they locked up all the guns. Hi, Ma. Sorry. We didn't kill each other. Yeah, when we started shooting, because we used the air hockey game, this is how stupid and crazy we were. We used the air hockey game because it had the center ice circle, and we put that against the wall because we didn't play. I think the motor burned out or whatever. We used that as a target, And Dad, like, he's like, oh crap. For the grace of God, go I. Okay, good orderly direction saw that I was okay. We won't kill him off just yet. Okay, I will look at Foundation. Okay, I'm not so rigid. I try new things. I mean, shit. My wife got me to watch Grey's Anatomy, and I actually enjoyed it. Some of it was funny. So I can do some things. Some things I can't do. If it crosses the line into like, I don't like debauchery. Like I'm a real prude. Like when I watch Officer and a Gentleman all the time, I like fast forward through the sex scenes because I'm like, okay, that's porn. I'm a bit of a prude that way. They used to call me the prude in the military. So but yeah, Dad had to lock the guns up, all the ammunition. I don't know how we didn't kill each other. Well, we knew that guns could kill. we had that in our brains that we didn't shoot each other. Everybody stood back. It was concrete. I don't know about ricochets or anything, but we were kids, right? Now we shot each other with pellet guns. You do the dare thing. You'd shoot in the leg, and you'd see how, and then you'd start walking in, and who would give up first, right? It hurts, man. Even with a heavy pair of jeans, it hurts. No, I don't think anybody got. I think but the pellet would only go under your skin if it get through the jean. I can't remember. I don't think anybody who had penetration. We did have guys in school that were missing an eye. The Ralphie, like, you shoot your eye out. It's the truth. You can shoot your eye out. So, I'm not saying to have make your own range in the basement of your house if you're an affluent white kid. Don't do it. God, can you imagine what would happen today in our namby-pamby society of goodness and trying to protect the children? Like that poor lady, I can't remember where, I think it was in America. Was it in America, or like her kid got off the property, and because the other one had to go to the hospital, and the kid walked into town, arrested the mother, or took CCS or child CPS or whatever is in mom. I remember that's why I had to be put on a leash when I was a kid. They had the harness when it was attached in the back, so I couldn't get out of the backyard, and I would just run up and down the clothesline because I literally, couldn't find me one day, and the cops brought me home. They're like, yeah, we found him on the boulevard, sitting on, the island where the light was, the light standard for the red, green, and yellow. And I was playing in the light standard. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how I got there. I was 5. The fuck do I know? But they brought me home, brushed me off, gave me a lollipop or gave me a fudgesicle. My mom did not go to jail, fucking kids will be kids, But now, holy shit. You had the harness too, eh? Yeah, I had a harness. I have video evidence. I will try and actually the thumbnail, if I can do it, if I can find me on the harness, because I was one of those Tarzan monkey kids that I would climb up. Well, look, there's a tree. Shit, I did that as a drunken adult in the military. Where's Lakuter? Oh, he's up the tree again, drunk. Okay. Hope he doesn't hurt himself when he falls down. The military, daycare for crazy people. It was for us because of our trade, because most of the guys in the diving world were nuts. Well, you had to be half crazy to do that trade. So, clearance diver. It was, what a great time though. But yeah. But we're on the cusp of something right now. We're on the verge. That's why I always tell my friends, don't lose faith, and I don't. I'm like Selma Hayek in Dogma. It's not what it's that you have faith in something other than, I have my 12-step program. That's why it works for me. I've had that for 30 years now. I wanted to show you something. Hang on. Oh, it's right here. I took my 30-year sobriety cake. So I got my 30-year sobriety cake. I took that the other night. So my wife made this chocolate cake that was so chocolatey and sweet and good that I would have washed in it. It was so good. Like, it was so chocolatey. It was so good. But yeah.
What my secret is.
What'd you do? Coffee. She puts coffee in the mix, so it makes it more chocolatey. If that, fuck, it was decadent. It was decadent. It should have been on a drug schedule. It was so good. It was addictive. It was so good. Yeah. But then again, I have faith in something other than me, because I'm me alone. Yeah. The laws of robotics. Yeah. The laws of robotics. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we are all like some sort of cloned hybrid. I don't know. Maybe we're in a bubble of goo right now, and we're ready to break out of the bubble of goo like Neo. I don't know. I don't have the answer. That much I don't know. All I know is that I have to keep my cheese on the cracker. I have to keep my faith. I have to keep keep moving forward in a good, orderly direction, so that the movie script, so that the movie keeps going. And because that's why I noticed that whoever's writing this movie that we're in, this shit show, is doing a terrible job. That's why we need a new script. That's all. It's a terrible. This is like Spock's brain. This is a terrible Star Trek episode. You know, I'm only railing on Spock's brain because it's in my matrix right now, because I've been seeing. I'm on a fan site and they just some hate it, and it wasn't horrible, but yeah, I can understand Spock's brain. We're in a Spock's brain right now, and it's terrible. It's like, oh, we got to get out of this. You know, this has got to stop. You know, it's just terrible. You know, they're doing everything wrong and blah blah blah. You know, but I have hope and I have faith that everything will move along accordingly. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, yeah. And I always make it in movie terms too. Like when people like argue the back and forth of the director's cut of a movie, when you actually see the movie in itself and you see it, and then you see the director's cut afterwards and say, oh, I know that why that scene was cut out, because it wasn't required to move the movie forward. It was a useless scene, or it was a shit scene, or it was a scene that staggered the psyche for the people watching it. So right now, this movie is not going forward in an orderly direction. So it needs to be there needs to be new writers. That's the best I can put about it. Yeah, yeah. The Force. I believe in that stuff. I've been plucked out of my path was on a direction, and something happened in my lifetime that it went in another direction. Absolutely. Like almost like there was a line ripped right across that line that I was doing, and it literally diverted. And I thank my higher power that it went in a good, orderly direction. Because if I had kept going on the way I was going, it was either death, incarceration, or abject insanity, something horrible. I would not have had children. I would not have a relationship with any children. I would have no family that would even talk to me today. So something happened. I'm not even going to argue the pros and cons of hitchhiking. You know, instead of having a tomato juice, I had a V8, and that's what it boils down to. I could have had a V8. You know, I had that fucking tomato juice and it was shit. You know, and it was warm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and some do, some don't. Always watch the director's cut of some movies and such like that, and there could be things going on right now that are required. They're like, you know, owie Band-Aid ripoffs, and you're like, but it's required. I understand that too as well. I don't have the answer, and I'm not here to say that this is. I just believe that the script needs to be rewritten. Like there needs to be an what do they call it? An amendment. I don't know. I can't remember the word. There needs to be an amendment. Change the director, change the writer. You know, hopefully it won't be as bad as MASH, when they just completely shit canned and it went. It was like, oh, wonderful, wonderful. You know, that's my opinion. You know, after Blake left, after when when Jamie Farr stopped wearing dresses, and Linville left, and Wayne Rogers left, and they all, you know, then it just changed, and it went badly. In my opinion, it was terrible, but that's just my opinion. I'd like to see this movie get better. That's all. That's all. You know, I'm asking for no special dispensation either. Nothing. I am not anymore. I bleed red just like all of you guys. I just want to see it so that we can figure it out. So that 3 hots and a cot is all I ever cared about. You know, I don't need more than what my neighbor has. If I got 3 hots and a cot, I'm good. You know. You know. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. So here's hoping. Oh, next week, yes, there will be a show. Next Wednesday is my dad's birthday, so I got to make a phone call for him. But the following Wednesday, there won't be a show because we have to go somewhere and we'll be out of town. But next Wednesday, there will be a show. Should be at the same time, 11, same bad time, same bad channel. You know, great to see everybody here today. I really appreciate everybody chiming in. Just a wonderful show. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Just gets me thinking. Then you guys write some stuff, and that's what we need. But just mild discourse. You know, we can't all get along, but we can figure out a way to get along. Yeah, it was a simple. The mole hater just, you know, he has no real scares about it. It wasn't like, ah. It was just like, nah, that can go. Don't need it. It's new. You know. And for me, now that I'm susceptible, yay, I've got to be vigilant on checking all my skin, and you know, no more bacon in the sun, or I have to take precautions. So no big deal. Just part of the matrix now for me, you know. Because if I don't, you know, so that's just the way it is. But yeah. Yep, travel plans are moving along. Everything's moving along. Hopefully, Ecuador happens this year. As it sits, just moving slowly forward, and hopefully, I think I need it this year more than ever. For whatever reason, the darkness is just, I'm just not doing well with it. You know, the sun was out the other day. It was so wonderful. It was coming through the gym window, and I was just sitting there just like vitamin D, and I was just spinning like I was on a rotisserie, just spinning around for the sun to hit all, you know, just to give me a nice bit of warmth, and the vitamin D coming through, and I could feel it. But yeah. Oh yeah, she's coming. Yeah. We can only hope. So, okay, we'll let it go at that. Great to see you all. As always, I love it. Glad that everybody was here. I was glad I was able to, and it worked out great, right? I walked up there, tick, 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 tick. I was able to get home for the time to get the show going. Hey, man, we'll just go with that. I'm enjoying that. That was perfect. You know, walked in here, click, clack, clack, got my coffee. Bob's your uncle. I was able to get things going. So, okay, so we'll let it go at that. It's been an hour, and then we'll go and check the matrix and see what's going on in the world and see what we can see. So anyway, we'll have lots of things to talk about next week for sure, I'm sure. Okay, peace to you and yours. And as always, we hope to see you on the flip side. And peace, love, and grooviness.